Alright guys, today I'm going to show y'all how to switch out the trigger on the ZASTAVA M70 AK-47. We're going to be switching it out from the OEM trigger to the ALG Defense AK trigger. This is the EL version. So I'm going to show y'all the trigger pull. And there ain't nothing in here. I'm going to show y'all the trigger pull. So you can't really tell where the wall's at. And this is the reset. It's kind of trash. Whatever. Alright, we're going to take off our scope. Press the back, and you're going to press this button right here at the same time. Yeah, there you go. Boom, dust cover comes off. You're going to take your spring out. Just push forward. Make sure you're holding on to that shit. You don't want it flying. I'm going to reset this trigger, and I'm going to pull this bolt back. It's going to come right out. Damn, that shit dirty as fuck. Alright guys, so this is how the trigger looks before we do anything to it. Make sure you get in there. Well, I'm going to deep press the trigger first. So I'm going to put my thumb there, and I'm going to pull the trigger, and I'm going to slowly walk it back. Then I'm going to raise the safety all the way. So you literally just pull it up and keep pulling. See that? And then you'll be able to just slide it out. So now we're going to take this little mousetrap ass trigger, and we're going to pick the spring up and put it on the hammerhead. So we're literally just going to grab here. We're going to lift it up and put it on the head like that. And be careful, man. If this shit gets your hand, that's it. There we go. Now I'm going to get my rubber band. And I'm just going to wrap it around there. So now if the springs fall off, it ain't going to get your finger. So now that it's like that, you can actually get you a little punch. You see this little holder right here? I don't know what this is called, I'm sorry, but it's holding those pins in place. So literally all you do is pull up like that, and you push back. Boom, came off. So this is what's holding those pins in. And literally when it's in there, you can see it. All you do is pull up and pull back. You can see this little groove, that's what's holding that trigger, that hammer pin. And then this right here is holding the trigger pin. So lift up on the trigger pin, pull back on the hammer pin. And if I have the terminology wrong, call your mom and ask her what it's really called. All right, now we can punch these hammer pin out. There it goes. Came out. Kind of just wiggle that shit around. And then to get it out, once that pin is out, you have to rotate it like this and pull straight out. And there you go. And then we're going to do the same thing. Now with the trigger pin, you got to be careful because this spring will shoot out. I've learned that the hard way. Oh, shit. All right, once you take the trigger pin out, you want to get in here. Make sure you're holding on to it so it don't like spring out. And then you just pull it out. There you go. There's your release, your spring, and your trigger. Just like that. Alright, now that we got the original trigger out, we're going to insert the ALG trigger. So you got your trigger here. I'm going to show you how beautiful this is. Oof, that's nice. A little curvature, you know. There's our hammer. The disconnector. It comes with this extra spring, and I'm going to show y'all what this spring does is I think the initial pull weight is like you got your spring, and then your important part, you got your two little detents. Let's get this hammer spring put on. So we're gonna take our rubber band off, and I'm just going to get some pliers. Take this shit off. There's that. And do a real, oh, see, almost got myself. Damn. All right, so we're gonna take off the trigger spring as so. I'm gonna get our new hammer, put that bitch on. All right, there we go. All right, guys. So we're gonna take our trigger, flip that shit around. And once this little loop is like laying on the front, then we're gonna twist. We're gonna get these springs back and twist them. And I put some gloves on in case they slip. I ain't trying to fuck my finger up. Boom, just like that. All right. Rubber band that shit so it don't come off. So now I'm going to put that in there. It's kind of hard. Oh, there we go. Remember, you put it in sideways. I'm gonna take our pin. I'm gonna slide that shit in there. There it goes. Keep the pin in there. All right. Now we're gonna take our trigger and drop the trigger in there. Now, before we do that, you see this hole right here? This hole, that's where your little detent goes. And what this is for, this little detent, is that's what engages the safety, or it keeps the gun from firing when in safe. Some guns, you have to modify that shit by sanding it down a little bit. I had to do it on my M92. It's not that big a deal. And like, oh, these are. All right. Put that in there. And I'm just gonna punch it in there. So I'm just putting the punch on this. Getting the fuck out of it. Just hit it. It's in there pretty good. See that? So once that D10 is in, we're gonna have to kind of fuck with it to see if it's the right size. But I'm gonna take my grease and I'm gonna put a little bit of grease where that spring sits. And it's just gonna help it. It's gonna help it sit in there and kind of stay. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of grease in the disconnector and this little hole. Just a little bit. I'm just gonna help the trigger sit, the spring sit in there. So then boom, like that. See that? It won't fall out. So the spring sits on that little hole where that grease is. Can you get in there? There you go, right there. Literally just sits in there. Now, this spring right here, this is the pain in the ass part. So, before I put that spring in, I'm gonna make sure that that detent is the right size. I'm gonna put the trigger pin. You gotta kind of press down until the holes line up. There we go. Boom. There it goes. All right. So got that pin in there. This is where we need to check the clearance for our safety. So this little notch right here, right there, that little notch has to sit right above that detent. And it's gonna keep it from being able to be pushed up. Here, you can hold it. So that detent stops the trigger from being able to be pressed during safety. Yeah, I'm gonna have to Dremel it a little bit. It's too big. You can see that detent when I try to push the, you see how it's hitting it? So I gotta Dremel it down just a little bit. I'm just gonna. There we go. All right, so now that it cleared it, we're gonna function test. So, see that pin? So now, when it's in safety, that pin goes right over. Oh shit. There it goes. Right over it. And it doesn't allow the trigger to be pressed. See, it's hard. But as soon as you drop that safety, the trigger can be pressed. See that? Alright. So I'm gonna put this trigger pin in halfway. Alright, so a little spring right here, the way it goes on. So you see it sits in there like that, and you just got to get the pin through that little hole. That's the hardest part. So we're gonna try. Oh shit, I almost got it. Boom. All right, guys, that's how it sits in there. You see that? Just like that. And that's gonna make a big difference in your trigger pull. Yeah, we can. All right, I'm gonna take this out first. Sorry, guys, it's kind of trial and error. We're gonna put that in. There we go. We got everything on right. Now we can put our safety back in. All right. All right, guys. So now you're gonna take your pliers and you're gonna grab this right here. Just kind of let it fall. And that's it. That's where they sit. So when you drop those springs, they need to be sitting just like that. All right, so let's do the function test. So I'm gonna drop the trigger down. So I'm gonna put our thumb, because you don't want that to slam. We're gonna pull the trigger. Boom, it releases. Now we're gonna put it on safety. Can't even press it, so it's good. So we know our safety works. So now we're gonna reassemble our AK-47. All right, so I'm gonna put the bolt on first. Oh, it's really dirty, but we'll clean it later. All right, then you take your spring, put it into the groove and push forward. Put it in the grooves. Be careful, man, don't let this go. And boom. So when it's in the groove, it'll just sit on there like that. Then you take your dust cover and you just lay it on there. And once the dust cover's on, you just press this button and it pops it out. Did you get that? And you're good to go. All right, guys, now we're gonna function test. So we're gonna cock it. Then we're gonna hear the reset. All right, now we're gonna cock it, put it on safety. You cannot press, so your safety's working. Take it off safety. All right, so now I'm gonna show y'all the trigger pull. Make sure you zoom in. You got it? All right, guys, this is the trigger pull with the ALG AKT. See that little bit of creep and then snap? All right, keep it on there. Now we're gonna see the reset. All right, we're gonna do that one more time. All right, you're gonna see the creep and then the snap. Creep, wall, snap. All right, we're gonna see the reset. Keep that camera steady. Reset. It's a really clean trigger.